In the top stories, Ambassador Calvin St. Just says the CIU will continue its strict oversight of the Citizenship by Investment program now the FinCEN advisory has been lifted. The Jamaican government is urging its citizens to avoid travel to the Middle East as conflict in the region escalates, and the tensions in the Middle East are rising following the military strikes in Iran. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Major Newscast. I am Jasmine Thomas. The St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship Unit says it will continue strengthening oversight and screening measures following the removal of a long-standing United States financial crimes advisory on the Federation's Citizenship by Investment program. Last week, officials confirmed the U.S. Financial Crimes Enforcement Network rescinded the advisory, which had been in place since 2014 after a series of governance and security reforms. The executive chairman of the Citizenship Unit, Special Envoy Calvin St. Just, said the decision signals renewed international confidence in the program. He explained that the unit, now operating as a statutory body with a board of governors, has upgraded its due diligence and compliance systems and introduced stronger accountability mechanisms. St. Just said authorities took the advisory seriously and implemented changes including mandatory applicant interviews, advanced biometric identity verification, and more extensive background and financial screening through international partners. He added that the unit has also expanded cooperation with local, regional, and international law enforcement agencies to improve information sharing and security monitoring. Going forward, the program will also require applicants to show a genuine link to the Federation, including physical presence, investment activity, and long-term engagement with the country. Ambassador St. Just said the unit's priority is to maintain strict due diligence, good governance, and compliance with international anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing standards. Officials say the changes are part of a continuing effort to protect the integrity and reputation of the Citizenship program. Commissioner of Police James Sutton has thanked the Regional Security System, the RSS, for its service during the 50th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM held in St. Christopher and Nevis. The Commissioner commended the officers for their professionalism, dedication, and contribution to the success of the regional meeting. He noted that while the operation presented logistical and operational challenges, these were effectively managed through collaboration between local security forces and the RSS. Commissioner Sutton said the RSS officers performed their duties credibly and maintained a high standard of professionalism throughout the engagement. The Commissioner also wished the officers a safe return to their home countries and reaffirmed the Federation's appreciation for continued partnership among RSS member states in advancing collective security across the region. The Guard of Honor ceremonies staged by the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force were among the visual highlights of the recent CARICOM Heads of Government meeting. Between February 22 and 24, soldiers welcomed arriving regional leaders with full ceremonial parades at the Cayenne Jet Lounge of the Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport. Over the 3 days of the summit, the Defense Force displayed precision, discipline, and professionalism as heads of government and other delegations arrived. The Guard of Honor is a long-standing diplomatic tradition used to formally welcome visiting leaders, and for this summit, it provided a ceremonial start to the arrival of regional delegations. The Defense Force also said the parades were part of its continued role in supporting national events and representing St. Kitts and Nevis during major regional occasions. On the regional scene, The government of Jamaica is urging its nationals to avoid travel to the Middle East amid escalating hostilities involving the United States, Israel, and Iran. In a statement on Saturday, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, said the ministry is closely monitoring the unfolding military situation. She urged Jamaicans currently in the region to exercise vigilance and shelter in place as conditions may require. The ministry is also advising Jamaicans to avoid all travel to the region at this time. The advisory follows major strikes launched by the United States and Israel against Iran, with reports of retaliatory missile and drone attacks targeting Israeli sites and U.S. military bases. The exchange has raised concerns about a wider regional conflict, with some countries reporting temporary airspace closures and emergency and diplomatic consultations underway at the United Nations. In a significant development, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was reportedly killed during the assault, with Iranian state media later confirming his death. The situation remains fluid as governments around the world review their travel advisories and security postures. And the government of Guyana is developing strategies to manage its transition to green and blue economies, aiming to balance economic expansion with sustainability and long-term resilience. Minister of Labour and Manpower Planning, Keoma Griffith, said the move focuses on ensuring that growth from the country's oil discoveries does not lead to environmental or economic dependency. He noted that Guyana is working to diversify its economy, invest in its people, and create decent jobs in environmentally friendly green industries and sustainable ocean-based blue jobs. The government also emphasizes social protection and inclusive policies to support workers through the transition, ensuring no one is left behind as the country moves towards a low-carbon future. We now take a look at news on the international scene. New strikes by Iran have targeted energy facilities in Saudi Arabia and Qatar, with Saudi authorities saying a fire at the Ras Tanura oil refinery is now under control. In Kuwait, 3 U.S. F-15 fighter jets crashed in what the U.S. military calls an apparent friendly fire incident. All 6 crew members ejected safely. The Israel Defense Forces report additional strikes on Tehran and have confirmed the death of senior Iranian intelligence officials in Lebanon. Israeli airstrikes in Beirut and southern Lebanon have killed at least 31 people after Hezbollah fired rockets and drones towards Israel. The U.S. and 6 allied Gulf states have called Iran's actions a dangerous escalation that threatens Middle East stability. In Cyprus, 2 drones heading for the UK-based RAF Akrotiri were intercepted, and UK forces have taken precautions to move families to safe locations. Markets have reached to the tensions, with gas prices sharply rising internationally, reflecting concerns over supply disruptions from the region. And more than 100,000 Britons have registered with the UK government to report their presence in the Middle East amid ongoing Iranian strikes across the region. Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper estimates there are around 300,000 British citizens in Gulf countries, many of whom are holidaymakers, business travelers, or transiting through. While no evacuation has been ordered, the government is preparing for scenarios if commercial flights remain grounded. British nationals in Bahrain, Israel, Kuwait, Palestine, Qatar, and the UAE have been advised to register with the Foreign Office for updates. Travel disruptions are widespread. Nearly half of Sunday's flights from London Heathrow to the region were cancelled. Airlines including British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, Emirates, Qatar Airways and EasyJet have suspended or rerouted operations. In Dubai, airports and luxury hotels have suffered damage, with 1 death and 11 injuries reported. In Cyprus, an Iranian drone crashed into RAF Akwatory, prompting the UK Ministry of Defence to move families to safe accommodation as a precaution. The UK Prime Minister has allowed the US to use British military bases for limited defensive strikes on Iranian missile sites, while stressing that the UK will not join offensive action. And now we take a look at the weather. Across St. Kitts and Nevis, skies are generally fair with a light Saharan dust haze. Winds are moderate from the east at about 13 miles per hour, increasing east-southeast to 14 to 21 miles per hour, with possible gusts of up to 30 miles per hour. Sea swells remains between 1.8 and 2.8 meters, or about 6 to 9 feet. A small craft advisory remains in effect. As Monday continues, expect partly cloudy skies with a 60% chance of showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a 30% chance of showers. Sunset this evening is set to be at around 20 minutes past 6, and the sunrise tomorrow will be at approximately 6:30. That brings us to the end of the Midday Major Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jasmine Thomas. God bless you.